Hey y'all, Ramdino here, coming at you again for another Appalachian Trail community news, through hiker update, and trail information. So, a couple things before we get started. One, I want to thank my sponsor for this video this week. That's LMNT Electrolyte Drink Mix. Awesome drink mix. We'll talk about them in just a minute. But what I really want to thank is Trail Boss. She's been with me for 28 years in this thing we call marriage. And I don't know what in the world's wrong with her, but I am so glad that she's broke and decided to stay with me. So, and I don't mean broke by money. I mean something's wrong with her for staying with me for 28 years. But thanks a lot, Trail Boss. Trail Boss. Now, let's get to talking about what's going on out there on the trail. So, No Rush, as y'all know, has says he is the last Sobo out there, and he issued, in his words, a challenge, which I think it means challenge. And so he issued a challenge to be the last, that he was the last Sobo. As a matter of fact, the ATC wrote on his bag tag last. So I've had some people report in that he may not be the last one that's out there. So, as a matter of fact, he's not the last one out there. But he may be the last one that started last. So we've got some folks out there. Dang Bird, they met Laptop, which is another Sobo, and they met them at Mountaineer Falls Shelter. So obviously that's behind No Rush, because No Rush, his last known was at Fontana. So Mountaineer Falls is up in Tennessee. And that's where they met Laptop. And Dang Bird's been hiking with Picky Eater and Grinch, and they are heading into Damascus. And then Half a Day says he is Southbound #2. So he left Katahdin as #2, left sometime in the summer of 2022, had to take multiple zeros because of an injury, but he's got back on trail, and he is past Harper's Ferry. Matter of fact, he is through the shanties, and he says that he is probably going to be the last Sobos out there. So doesn't matter who the last Sobo is. It's just awesome that those folks are out there on the trail, but good to hear from all of those. Now, what's going on with the class of 2023? Well, Oz is hiking sailor. He's somewhere around mile 609. When he crossed the creek there at Lick Creek where the bridge is out, it was just like ankle deep. So that was before the big rain we had come through Saturday, but that won't last. Whatever level it increased will not last too long. It'll get on out of here. Trash Hiker finally got his hat back from Bear Hang. So that hat got passed around to a bunch of different folks trying to get it to Trash Hiker, including making a full circle back to Bear Hang, and Bear Hang wound up getting it back to him. And so that was awesome. So that's the way the Appalachian Trail works, folks. The trail provides, and that's pretty neat. Onward, he should be somewhere in the Smokies. Chris from AKA The Girls, so this is her third attempt at a through hike, and so she has taken on the trail name of 3-tack, which means third time's a charm. So this is her third attempt, and she made it through the Smokies in 5 days. Says that weather was absolutely spectacular. One day was really cold. She hadn't taken a day off the trail in 12 days, so she decided to take a double zero and hang out with friends. But says overall things are going great. She's very excited about passing the 200-mile mark. Cobweb Rose and her family of Snapshot, Mountain Crusher, and Lucky, they have made it to Irwin. They had to take a few zeros there because they all caught Noro. We're going to talk a little bit more extensively about the Norovirus out there in just a few minutes. But right now, I want to introduce you to something that's going to help you get through and over and back on the trail from the Norovirus, and that is LMNT Electrolyte Drink Mix. It doesn't matter if I'm hiking in the summer or winter, I am sweating like it's my job. When I'm sweating, I'm burning out electrolytes that my body needs. I'm getting headaches, cramps, muscle fatigue that I shouldn't be getting. I couldn't figure out what was going on, and then I realized it was electrolyte deficit. And so I decided to do something about it, and now whenever I'm going on a hike, then I'm always bringing with me an LMNT Electrolyte Drink Mix. So LMNT Electrolyte Drink Mix has all the things that your body craves, that your body needs, that you're losing while you're out there. It's got sodium, potassium, magnesium, no sugars, no gluten, no fillers, none of the BS that all these other drinks has. It has exactly what you need. NBA athletes and NFL athletes use it. Soccer moms use it. M1 tankers use it. And now hiker trash use it. So you need to go and use it. And the way you can do that is right now, LMNT Drink Mix has a special offer for all of my viewers. So you can go to the website down below. That's drinklmnt.com/Ramdino. Go and order any size order you want, and they will give you a free sample pack of all of their flavors. They got citrus, watermelon, raspberry. Today I'm drinking mango chili. So I'm looking forward to this. And they've got any type of flavor in there that you would like to drink there. They've got some really neat flavors. So go to that site, drinklmnt.com/Ramdino, and you too can go and take advantage of it and make sure that you don't have any of the electrolyte deficits that I've been having and the problems I've been having on the trail. That is so refreshing. I feel like that I just jumped in a lake somewhere. Some of the best tasting stuff I've had out there on the trail. So that's drinklmnt.com/Ramdino. Go in there and claim your free offer now just by ordering a simple order. Hey, Trail Boss, what's up?
Well, you look refreshed.
Well, I feel refreshed.
Well, how can I get refreshed?
Well, you can get refreshed by getting you some of this right here. This is LMNT Electrolyte Drink Mix. You can go and get some of this, and you can go to drinklmnt.com/Ramdino and get your own free offer. But I tell you what, right now, since you're out here on the trail, I have got you some that you can have yourself.
Oh,
and
thank
this
you.
is lemon habanero. So you try some of that, Trail Boss.
Oh, well, what's habanero?
Habanero, I think habanero is a fruit.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome, Trail Boss. Don't know what the Schofield rating is on lemon habanero, but it's going to put everything back into your body that you need. Now, let's go ahead, go claim that free offer, and let's get back to see what's going on with the thru hikers. Hey, that's some good stuff, and I found out later that the Schofield rating for that lemon habanero is not too bad, so anybody out there will just love that stuff. Ross 08, he has made it to Damascus. Stretch is through the Roans, and Sammy got her trail name of Wrongway, and she is near Fayetteville on her flip-flop from Harper's Ferry. Frodo, he has made it through the Shanties. Hiram Hikes is north of the Kiefer Oak, and he ran into a rattlesnake, and here's his video of that rattlesnake encounter. Ron 78 from Belgium, he is in Damascus, Jersey, and DOB, they are 21 miles north of Angels Rest Hostel. Said all systems are go. Weather has been decent, except, of course, for this Saturday when a lot of rain. They did say that the hiker volume is picking up. Smoke, he has made it through the Smokes and even helped Roll Tide, our ATC Smokies correspondent, haul out some trash there that some ne'er-do-well hikers left behind. Sure, they're not thru hikers, but they left it behind there. And here's a picture of Roll Tide. He's on the left, the only ATC employee that will talk to me or that cares a thing about me. And they are helping another hiker enjoy the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Jeff and Maya, they have made it to Harper's Ferry. Bear Hang, he made it to Maryland, which is a warm-up for Rocksylvania. And sent in this photo. I've done Maryland before, and it is definitely a rocky state. McDuck, the Okie, and JFK, which stands for Jeff for Kansas, so I guess he's taking on the mantra of the trail name of JFK, has passed the 600-mile mark. Moose Liver is in the Shanties along with B Liver. So she met B Liver at the gathering, and B Liver was going to start later on a flip-flop, and Moose Liver said, hey, how about just start with me? So now they are known as the Liver Sisters. And Moose Liver had to take a trip to the hospital, back on trail now, and they are using the leapfrog method. So they've got one vehicle, they park it, or they drop off one of the hikers, and then they will drive the vehicle back around south of that. And so one hiker hikes Nobo, one hiker hikes Sobo, and they drop the keys off as they pass each other. And then when the Nobo hiker gets back to the vehicle. They go around and pick up the Sobo hiker. And so that's how they're doing that. Because of her stay in the hospital, she's had to be doing slack packing. The doctors told her to do that. But that's a method that has been used before. And you don't necessarily have to slack pack when you're doing that. You could make it a 2-day extension and kind of meet in the middle of the shelter somewhere. But anyway, that's what Moose Liver and Bee Liver are doing. Willen, he is checking in from Marion, Virginia. He's Nobo, started March 8th, and he has hit the quarter-way mark. So that's awesome. OG has caught an epic sunrise there at McAfee Knob, and he has made it to Rockfish Gap. Blacksburg has survived the guillotine, and he is just north of Glasgow. Mamanita and Tupac, they have made it past the quarter-way mark. Lucky Colleague is north of Irwin. Heisenberg is through the Rhone and says that Noro has made it at least through the Rhone and to the 19E there. So don't know. I have heard that it has made it a little further north. Again, we'll talk about Noro in just a minute. Patriarch, he has made it to the Over Mountain Shelter, and it was still standing when he got there. And I had also seen a notice from somebody that sent in a couple weeks ago where the posted on the Over Mountain Shelter was a moratorium not to camp there, and that has expired. So not telling you to camp there, didn't say that, just said the moratorium may be expired. So check that out when you get there. A couple folks that have gotten off trail. Phoenix is off trail due to multiple fractures that occurred in a fall just south of Irwin. So she tripped on some rocks, broke her fibula and ankle in several places, and had to have surgery and insert metal pins into her bones. So that is just terrible. Sorry to hear about that, Phoenix. She did have a Garmin GPS with her, and she hit the bell out button, and it actually worked. So she's the only person I've ever known that has hit that help button and has gotten help. And she said hit the SOS at around 10:45, and people got to her by 2 o'clock. So that is pretty quick to be out in the wilderness. Said they were very responsive, asked what the nature of the emergency was, name, age, all that neat stuff. So she had a two-way type of GPS instead of the one I use is just a it's just a one-way. So you hit the help button, and you don't know if anybody got it or not. So she also said a hiker came across her that ran up to the ridge line and called 911, and when he did, dispatches said that the SOS alert had already gone out and help was on the way. She said that it was also very complicated because where she was on the Tennessee-North Carolina border, but the call went to Virginia. So they had to get that sorted out. But she did say that Garmin texted her back and said that they had gotten it, and search and rescue was on the way, and they even gave her updates along the way. So that's very meaningful, particularly if somebody had, I mean, undoubtedly she was in a lot of pain to have all those kind of breaks. So I'm glad that worked out for her. And then Picnic from Germany, she hit the 500-mile mark, and she is going home. She said it was a big adventure, and she had a lot of memories, but she just decided to go home. And this takes people off the trail, and there's not anything wrong with that. She got homesick, had little aches and pains, but I think the homesick probably is more severe than anything out there. So that can take people off the trail. Glad she got to experience 500 miles. Said she may be coming back doing some section hikes later on. So we did have a completion from a 2002 Subo, and that was Fuzzy. So he started on June 22nd, and he finished this week. So congratulations to you, Fuzzy. That's awesome. We had a few updates from him, so appreciate you sending that in. He also did give one last trail update, and he said that Hawk Mountain Shelter, which is about, I believe it's around 8 miles from north of Springer, one of the first shelters that people hit when they're first starting their Nobo. He said it is infested with rats, and that tent there only unless you want visitors 5 times a night. So we got some big, huge news that's going out there on the trail right now. We are having diarrhea evacs. That's right, Norovirus has hit the trail. So I've got multiple counts from the Great Smoky Mountains all the way up into Damascus, and I've had that from multiple sources. So I've got many people that are telling me that, and including Miss Janet, who is a trail icon out there, and she's in touch with a lot. Matter of fact, she's in touch with all but one hiker on the trail. And so she's indicated that as well. And of course, there's no reason why Noro is going to end at Damascus. It's going to keep going on up the trail there. What Norovirus is basically you're going to look something like this right here, or even something like this. It doesn't matter. You're going to be for 24 to 48, maybe even 72 hours. You're going to have it coming out both ends. It is not something fun. It usually starts somewhere when the middle of the bubble gets to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Now, I checked with Roll Tide, who is our correspondent from the ATC's, a reach runner in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, and he is, again, one of the few ATC folks that talks to me that actually likes me. He said that he hasn't actually seen it happening in the Great Smoky Mountains, but that's where it happens, and it usually starts happening because people are in such close proximity to each other. Here's a picture that Roll Tide sent me of what's going on in the shelters and how jam-packed they could get. So norovirus can live on a surface for up to 4 weeks. And it comes from, usually transmitted from person to person that are living in close quarters. So not only shelters, but also hostels. And it comes from people sharing food out of the same food bag. It comes from, people putting their hands in somebody else's gort bag. It comes from touching the table there at the shelter where you're at. So it can live there on those tables for 4 weeks. It comes from ingesting tiny particles of infected feces and vomit. So the best practice, according to the CDC, is to avoid doing these things. So don't be touching the shelter stuff or shelter surfaces as minimum as possible. Don't be eating out of each other's food bags. By all means, try not to ingest tiny particles of poop and vomit. I would say that would be the number one thing right there. CDC says there's no medicine you can take to avoid it. Hand sanitizer is ineffective. One of the practices that you can do is when you get to the shelter, you can get in a big circle and everybody put your butts in the air. Instead of farting in the shelter, you can all fart outside. And that way you can avoid breathing in those fumes that may carry the norovirus. Here's a picture of folks doing that. I don't know if they're also doing yoga at the same time. I guess you could fart and do yoga at the same time. Don't know what that move is called. Maybe somebody out there can leave a comment and tell me what the yoga move of sticking your butt in the air and fart is. I'd be interested to know that. So enough for the norovirus. Fire season is upon us, so the National Forest Service has said that even though we've had some wet weather, particularly this weekend, it's going to be dry out there. We have had some fires already on the trail, and pretty much up and down the trail, it's fire season, and so they have asked people to avoid making campfires. If you do make a campfire, you definitely need to have enough water to put it out to where it's cold out to where you can stick your hand in it. If you can't stick your hand in it when you put it out, you hadn't put enough water on it. And so if you can't carry enough water to do that and supply what you need, don't start a fire to begin with. And then Suds passes along a message from Star Waffle. Star Waffle was Zen of Gooders Grove Hostel's girlfriend. Zen passed away a few weeks ago, and Star Waffle wanted everybody to know that they are having a public memorial service for him on Wednesday, April 30th at the Rathskeller Coffee House there in Franklin, North Carolina from 4 to 6 p.m. So folks show up there and just let Star Waffle know how much you support her, how much you thought of Zen out there. And then Trail Days is May 19th to the 21st. I'll be there. Come along, will be there with me. Maybe a few other thru hikers will be there. And we'll be in the big red tent out there on the family campground on the ball field. Folks, that's all I've got this week. And as always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out here.